50,000 customer social security numbers ended up indexed by Google because of one misconfigured bucket policy. An engineer set principal to asterisk to share a file quickly, assuming no one would find the bucket URL. But that policy made every object world-readable. Let's break down exactly how this happens and how to prevent it. Welcome to TheCodeForge. Before we dig into that production issue, let's cover Amazon Web Services' Simple Storage Service basics. Simple Storage Service stores data as objects in buckets. Each object has a key, data, and metadata. Buckets are region-scoped and globally unique. Access control is managed via bucket policies, identity and access management policies, and presigned URLs. Lifecycle policies automate cost savings by moving data to cheaper storage classes. Simple Storage Service has two building blocks, buckets and objects. A bucket is a named partition of storage. An object is any file with a key, data, and metadata. Keys look like file paths but are actually flat strings. There are no real folders, just prefixes. Here's how to create a bucket: upload a file, list objects with a prefix filter, download, and delete. Note, US East one does not need a location constraint, every other region does. By default, everything is private. Bucket policies grant broad, persistent permissions. Presigned URLs give time-limited access to a single object. Identity and access management policies control authenticated users. The combination of these determines who can access your data. This Python code attaches a bucket policy, allowing only a specific identity and access management role to read invoices. Then it generates a presigned URL valid for 1 hour. The object stays private, but the URL grants temporary access. Simple Storage Service offers storage classes to match access frequency. Standard is for hot data. Standard AA cuts costs for backups. Glacier Deep Archive is the cheapest for archival data. Lifecycle policies automatically move objects between classes based on age. This lifecycle policy transitions objects from Standard to Standard AA after 30 days, to Glacier IR after 180, to Deep Archive after 365, and deletes after 7 years. It also cleans up incomplete multi-part uploads after 7 days. Versioning protects against accidental deletion. Each overwrite creates a new version, a delete just adds a delete marker. Object lock enforces write-once-read many for compliance. Enable versioning on every production bucket. Enable versioning with a single CLI command. To restore a deleted object, copy from a previous version. Object lock must be enabled at bucket creation. You cannot add it later. For large files, use multi-part uploads. The software development kit handles it automatically. Transfer acceleration speeds up uploads from distant clients. Cross-region replication copies data to another region for disaster recovery. CloudFront caches content at edge locations for fast downloads. The upload file method automatically uses multipart for files over 8 MB. For transfer acceleration, configure the client with the accelerate endpoint. Benchmark before enabling. It costs extra and may not help if client and bucket are in the same region. This is the same issue we highlighted at the start. Here's exactly why that happened. A data engineering team set principal to star in a bucket policy to quickly share a file. They forgot to remove it. The policy allowed anonymous getObject on every object. Within 48 hours, Google had indexed the bucket, exposing 50,000 customer records including SSNs. The fix involved immediately updating the bucket policy to deny all public access, enabling Simple Storage Service block public access at the account level as a safety net, and switching to presigned URLs for all future file sharing. Any credentials found in the exposed objects were rotated. The key change was removing principal and using time-limited URLs instead. This is the exact policy that caused the leak. Principal star grants anonymous access to every object in the bucket. Never use it for sensitive data. If you must serve public content, restrict to a specific prefix and use CloudFront with origin access control. Principal star grants anonymous access to every internet user. This is the #1 cause of Simple Storage Service data leaks. Never use it unless the bucket is explicitly for public content, and even then restrict actions to getObject only. If you include a location constraint for US-East1, Amazon Web Services throws an error. US-East1 is the default and must not have one. Every other region requires it. Without an AbortIncompleteMultipartUpload rule, failed large uploads leave partial parts in simple storage service, silently accumulating storage costs. Always add a rule to clean up incomplete multipart uploads after a few days. The article mentions enabling block public access, but doesn't show how. This snippet applies the strongest block at the account level, preventing any bucket from becoming public even if a policy allows it. The article notes lifecycle policies are evaluated once per day. For immediate cost savings after a migration, use simple storage service batch operations to change storage class on existing objects. This example copies objects to Glacier Deep Archive. For advanced scenarios like redacting PII on the fly or transforming objects before serving, use simple storage service object Lambda. It intercepts getObject requests and runs a Lambda function to modify the response, keeping the original object private. To diagnose access issues, first check the bucket policy. Use getBucketPolicyStatus to see if the bucket is public. List incomplete multipart uploads to find cost leaks. For object-level issues, check the ACL. Always test policies with the Amazon Web Services Policy Simulator before applying. Let's run through some common interview questions. What's the difference between bucket policy and identity and access management policy? Bucket policies attach to buckets, grant cross-account anonymous access. Identity and access management policies attach to users' roles, require authentication. How would you architect a file upload feature? Use presigned URLs for direct uploads, lifecycle policies for cost management, and versioning for data protection. Is simple storage service eventually consistent? No, simple storage service is strongly consistent for PUT, overwrite, and delete. List operations are eventually consistent in some cases. And a few frequently asked questions. How do I make a bucket public? Attach a bucket policy with principal. An action, simple storage service, getObject but only for public content. Can I recover a deleted object? Yes, if versioning is enabled. Copy from a previous version. Why is my simple storage service bill high? Check for incomplete multipart uploads, lifecycle transitions, and storage class usage. To recap, never set principal to star in a bucket policy unless the bucket is explicitly for public content. Enable versioning on every production bucket. It's a one-line CLI command that gives you undo. Use presigned URLs for per-file sharing. And always add lifecycle rules to automatically manage storage costs and clean up incomplete multipart uploads. Ready to go deeper? Up next, Amazon Web Services Virtual Private Cloud and Networking, then Amazon Web Services Identity and Access Management, then Amazon Web Services Relational Database Service and DynamoDB. Find them all at TheCodeForge.io. Thanks for watching. The full article and code examples are covered in detail at TheCodeForge.io.